Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Serial at Midnight. As I very carefully put this, I almost lost it, put this stack back down on the table. Guys, this is our monthly look at Kino Lorber and everything coming out from all of their partner labels. This is going to cover the month of May 2024. As always, there are a few things that were announced for May that have not shown up. There are a few things that we're going to be covering here that have arrived since last month's video. And I'm saving the best for last. This is your incentive to stick around until the very end of this episode because I am saving my favorite thing from this entire over 24 title haul for very last, okay? Thanks to Kino Lorber for making these videos possible each and every month. Thanks to you guys for showing up for it. Without further ado, allons-y, let's go. We're kicking it off with a 4K. I always like to start with the 4Ks because that's what the kids are talking about. See, that's the trendy thing. We got Crybaby. We got Crybaby on 4K. It's the John Waters film. This is a 4K and Blu-ray combo. Now, I've gone through everything here. I don't believe anything that we're going to talk about had a reversible art wrap this time. Actually, that's not true. One of them does. This one does not. But it does have a ton of special features. Now listen, because we have so much ground to cover here, I'm not going to go into extreme detail on a lot of these. I'm going to hit the highlights. The point of this video is not... I always try to be very clear about this. The point of this video is to let you know what's coming out so that you can buy what you're interested in. Make sure you get your order in for what you're interested in. We got brand new HD master of the director's cut on Blu-ray, audio commentary with John Waters, moderated by Heather Buckley. Heather Buckley does incredible work and as a sort of a disc producer has been behind some incredible titles that I'm so happy have seen the light of day. Keep up the great work, Heather, if you see this. Bringing Up Baby, that's a featurette with John Waters, casting director Pat Moran, the director of photography David Inslee, and actress Mink Stoll. Pop icons, part of a collection, a few yucks. I mean, these features just go on and on and on. There's a ton of stuff here. It came from Baltimore. That's a 2005 documentary with the cast and the crew. This is loaded. This is absolutely loaded with stuff. So, John Waters on 4K, Johnny Depp on 4K. This is, I know there's going to be a lot of people who are really excited to have this, and I think that's great. From there, a natural transition would be Teaserama. Vintage burlesque tees. These are, they're very, now listen, I love this stuff, you know. This is, it seems so innocent now. I know in the context of when this was released, there's two films here. This is includes something weird video editions of Varieties and Teaserama. We got two unique features. One of them's like an hour and 17 minutes, I think it was. The other one is like 58 minutes. And that they're 4K restorations of both of those, but from 16 millimeter. But they also have the Something Weird video versions on the disc, so you have an option of which one. This is not a 4K release, but the restorations are 4K. We do have alternate artwork. It's Bettie Page, you guys. It's Bettie Page. And who are some of the other? Let's see if I can. Bettie Page, Lily St. Cyr, Cass Franklin, Monica Lane, Bobby Shields, Tempest Storm, Trudy Wayne, Vicky Lynn, and then there's like the old comedians, like the burlesque comedians. We got Dave Starr, we got Joey Ross. It's historical, man. This stuff is so historical, and it's awesome. And I mean, it's a little eyebrow raising, but to be clear, there's no, it's not lurid. And I think about, I don't know. Like, if you love mid-century cinema, as I do, not just mid-century cinema, but culture, music, and everything, this is a fantastic release, and I'm so happy. This is actually the number 7 of the Kino Cult range. I like how the people in the UK call things a range. Well, it's the range of releases. I like that. That sounds classy. So we have the two different presentations of each of the films, right? And then an audio commentary by Teaserama with Joe Weldon, the author of the Burlesque Handbook, and an audio commentary for Varieties by film historian Alexandra Heller-Nicholas. And there's also audio commentaries for the Something Weird video editions of Varieties and Teaserama by David F. Friedman and Mike Vraney. So, and the theatrical trailers as well. So there's a lot of stuff here in this package, and I love it. I love it. So I am so excited to see just that sort of, first of all, something weird. You know, if you've been following behind the scenes, like I follow them on Facebook and on social media, they're winding down with their whole direct-to-consumer thing. That for a long time, Something Weird Video was like a really underground label that if you were cool, you knew about it, right? But there's been a lot of changes behind the scenes. Times have changed, right? Now they're shutting down their direct-to-consumer side, and they're just partnering with a bunch of labels. Any labels that will access those transfers and like get them out. So we're seeing not just from Kino Lorber, but from Film Masters and from, I don't even want to start naming them. A lot of people are partnering with Something Weird Video. So good time for us. We've got another season of Monk. I think that's how it's technically pronounced, Monk. We got a season of Monk here. This is season 6. Season 7 should be hitting any day now. And they have done these pretty much once a month since they were first announced. You know, we talked to Frank. I talked to Frank about this, but you were here because you saw Frank Tarzi from Kino Lorber, and he told us that they were going to be doing Monk, and they were going to be doing it season by season, and that once they came out, they were just going to be like month after month. There was going to be a regular schedule of Monk. And lo and behold, they did it. Here's the features on this. What do we got? We got a commentary, 7 video commentaries, and 5 little Monk webisodes. So if you're a huge Monk fan, you're almost done. So excited about these. This could have been the thumbnail right here. Maybe I'll even isolate this, but I mean, you got to use the tall stack, right? The tall stack that almost fell over. These 2 releases chronicle some of my favorite things in the world. So we've got the Republic, I'll start with it, Republic Pictures Horror Collection. What is it, 3 films? It's 4 films. We've got The Lady and the Monster from 1944 with Erich von Stroheim. We've got The Phantom Speaks from 1945 with Tom Powers. We've got The Catman of Paris from 1946. Which has got Carl Esmond in it, and we've got Valley of the Zombies from 1946, which stars Ian Keith. Now listen, if you are a die-hard B-movie and mid-century cinema fan, you will recognize that at least some of these have been released in other parts of the world. I'm so glad now that... See, this is why I'm saying this, because fandom is so negative. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Like, let's recognize ourselves and let's try to do better. Fandom can be so negative. I know there's going to be people who go, well, I already bought some of those movies. Okay, you did, and they're now out of print. So now more people get to buy those releases, or these films, and more people get to see these films, and it makes them less of a secret and more... it puts movies back on the table, and we should all be happy about that. If you're concerned about the value of your collection, I question your place in like, we should be celebrating movies and access to as many people seeing these things as possible. So I'm tremendously excited that we've got a Republic Pictures Horror Collection. You know, I love Republic Pictures. These are on license from Paramount, so that's a good thing too, because Paramount, you know, some Republic Pictures went into the public domain, but Paramount has a lot of these films. Releases like this are great because there's a ton of these B movies from the 40s, and I would like to see this sell very well so that maybe we get a Republic Pictures Western collection, or Republic Pictures, what else could be, you know, an adventure collection. There are so many Republic Pictures that need to be put back into the circulation. And this is the way to do it. 4 movies in one fell swoop. You got 4 of them. You don't have to... you know, like, worry about, like, oh, is it worth the money to get them? No, you get 4 of them. So yeah, you want to get it. We got audio commentary for The Lady and the Monster by Stephen R. Bissett. Great commentator. Audio commentaries for The Phantom Speaks and Valley of the Zombies by Tim Lucas. Commentary for The Catman of Paris and Valley of the Zombies by film historian David Del Val and Miles Hunter. And then a sidebar on The Lady and the Monster by Tim Lucas and Stephen Bissett. So you see there's a little bit of overlap there, which is good. The 4 films are spread across 2 Blu-rays. I think it's 2 and 2, right? Yeah, two films on each disc. And listen, they're like an hour each. I think one of them's like an hour 20 or something like that. So it's no great shakes. It's no big deal to have that many on a disc. Sci-Fi Chillers Collection. I think this is Is this three? One, two. Yeah, three films. The Unknown Terror from 1957 with John Howard. The Colossus of New York with Ross Martin. And Destination Inner Space from 1966. See everything that I said just a second ago, transfer it to this. I mean, it's mid-century sci-fi, and that is one of my favorite things. And not to make fun of, not to watch and go, ha ha, look how stupid they were in 1957. They thought they knew everything. They knew nothing. I mock them. No, I watch these movies. I enjoy them for what they are. They are done with love. They are done with minimal budgets, but so much enthusiasm and craft. And yeah, when it's in HD, we can see the strings. But I don't know, that's kind of the fun for me because we get to see the hands-on. We get to see the fingerprints that made these things. Love of movies, guys. I'm here for the love of movies. Commentary on The Unknown Terror by Stephen Bissett. The Colossus of New York by Tom Weaver, Larry Blameyer, and Ron Adams. Audio commentary on Destination Inner Space by David Del Valle and Stan Schaffer. Sidebar on The Colossus of New York by Tim Lucas and Stephen R. Bissett. And then sidebar on Destination Inner Space. Again, Tim Lucas and Stephen Bissett. If you love movies like this, well, holy cow, you guys. This is going to be a must-have for your collection. I didn't show you. Let me show you the poster art for the... or did I? I don't know. Did I show you guys the poster art for the horror collection? If not, I'm about to. We're going to do it. Booyah! Boosh! One of the things I hate the most is when people watch older movies and they just make fun of them. And I know why. I know where it started, and it had a place in it. It had a place in our time. It had a place in our culture. We've moved past that now. We don't have to just make fun of things. We can watch them with 4K restorations or 2K restorations and go, oh, that's actually really clever. And when you watch a movie for what it is, instead of just taking punches at it the whole time, you see the messages that maybe were talked over in other scenarios. You get to see the Cold War fear. You get to see the Red Scare that infiltrates everything. You know, some of these movies are so heavily influenced by like communist paranoia that there's messages in them. There are things to pick up on. There's themes, and let's watch movies for what they are, instead of acting like a bunch of jerks who think they're better than everything, because it helps nothing. It makes everything worse. There's no scenario where like, well, I acted like a jerk and it really helped things out. So never in our society does that have that effect. This is really great too. I'm telling you, this whole month, man, this whole month is incredible. This is the William Powell Philo Vance collection. You guys, 3 Philo Vance movies with William Powell. So the Canary Murder Case, the Green Murder Case, and the Benson Murder Case. You guys see those posters down there? These movies span the very beginning of the talkie era. 1929 to 1930. From 4K and 2K scans of the best available 35mm elements. It's based on the S.S. Van Dyne's novels. Precodes. The Canary Murder Cases from 1929. The Green Murder Cases from 1929. The Benson Murder Cases from 1930. We've got audio commentaries for the Canary Murder Case and the Green Murder Case by Kim Newman and Barry Forshaw. And an audio commentary for the Benson Murder Case by Jason A. Nye, who is an incredible commentator and who I know a little bit. And really, I know, since I do commentaries now, I know how much work goes into these. And when you can make it look, when you can present a ton of knowledge. Okay, my last commentary, it hasn't been announced yet, so I can't tell you. But it's for something you're going to want, and we're going to talk about it as soon as it is announced. I had 45 pages of notes. I researched it for 6 weeks or so. These commentaries that are presented as like value-added material often are incredibly scholarly, academically approached, but when you can present that information in a way that feels very approachable, when you can talk to somebody, as I like to do, the conversational tone of this channel is very deliberate. I don't want you to feel like I am teaching you or like I'm coming across as some sort of a superior intellect in the area of film. And when we do get commentaries that do that, well, you see, the erudite nature of the film it's pretentious and it turns people away. Film is a communal art form. Film is for everybody. So when we have people that act as if film is this, thing on a hill to be studied, which it is and it can be, but it's also to be watched and talked about and enjoyed, it's hard to do a good commentary. is my point. And these guys make it look so easy. Kim Newman just sits there and talks on camera for, he'll do these 30-minute segments where he's not reading notes, and that's a model I follow. That's something that I have studied myself and tried to replicate with what I do. I may have some bullet points. I heard Stone Cold Steve Austin. You weren't expecting this. I heard Stone Cold Steve Austin talking one time about how he planned a match. He's like, you look at your hand, these are the high spots. You got 5 high spots in the match. You fill in everything in between those high spots. That's how I do my videos. There's a little peek behind the scenes. You have your high spots, fill in the rest. You got to know what you're doing, but you can do it. Peggy Castle, Back from the Dead. This is another Paramount picture, 1957, mid-century cinema, 4K scan. Why no 4K? Because it's a 1957 movie that's not going to sell the numbers that a film like this would need to sell to be profitable. This is it's Peggy Castle from 99 River Street, which is, they name checked that. That's a great film, a great release. I have it physically and I have it digitally because I like to have digital backups for my collection. It's anyway. So okay, who is the directed by Charles Marquis Warren of mid-century Western fame? So Charles Marquis Warren, this great force behind Rawhide and various shows, a great creator, and this is from that mind. Audio commentary by film historians Tom Weaver, Gary D. Rhodes, and Larry Blameyer, and another second audio commentary by David Del Val and Dana M. Reams. I'll hold that up. I'll let you freeze it. I will export this video in 4K so that you can freeze it and make sure you can read all that good stuff. Fritz Lang's Secret Beyond the Door. What year is this? 1947. I may have recorded a commentary for a Fritz Lang movie. Maybe that's not announced yet. Maybe I'm still waiting for my commentary to be announced so we can talk about it. Very excited about it. If it were to happen. If that happened, who can say? 2022 HD master by Paramount Pictures from a 4K scan. We've got Joan Bennett of Dark Shadows fame here, and Michael Redgrave. And the audio commentary here is by Alan K. Rohde, who is, I always say this whenever I can, he's on my Mount Rushmore of film commentators because he just makes it look so easy. And because of his proximity to Hollywood, he's one of these guys that can just bop into a library, like an archive, and just go dig through the files. You know, that's one of the things that he does. It's so funny. These guys that live in that area have such a blessing of information, of resources. They just walk into a facility and could I see your file on Fritz Lang? Could I see your 1947 file, please? And then they just I couldn't even imagine. That'd be heaven for me. Should I be in LA? I feel like I should probably be in LA, but it's so far away. The Lawyer. This is another film that has been released from another distributor in another part of the world, but it's cause for celebration that we have it here because this is the beginning of Petrocelli. This is Barry Newman as the character of Tony Petrocelli, and it has a lot of stuff. Well, it's got audio commentary by Daniel Kramer and film director Paul Lynch with archival excerpts from director Sidney J. Furie. I think that's also on the other release. Imprint put it out in Australia, but it was region free, and so a lot of people imported that. The Sidney J. Furie set, I believe it was, for movies like this. But now, again, this is great. You know, Paramount licenses these movies to different parts of the world, so everybody has easy access. You don't have to spend import fees, or everybody should have access to movies. I think we can all agree on that, right? Newman's Law, it's an interview with star Barry Newman, and Lawyers, Wives, and Lost Lovers, that's an interview with actress Diana Muldaur, who I love from Star Trek fame, both the original series and as was it Dr. Pulaski season 2 of Star Trek The Next Generation. Again, no reversible art wraps here, but a good, I do love this art. Kino Lorber's art is frequently on point. I reached out one time to the person that does the art, and I just said, listen, I love your artwork. I would love to interview you. And they were like, that's not really my thing, but thank you. So just in case you're wondering, I did tap that. I did tap that resource. I did send an email. Let's go like, hey, and not their thing, but great art, right? Great art deserves to be mentioned. Peter Bogdanovich, Sybil Shepherd. This is Daisy Miller. Is this 74? So this is 4K scan of the 35 millimeter original camera negative. People go, why no 4K? We covered it, right? Like, whenever you see that, if you're on Reddit, when you know half the people on Reddit are bots, or half the accounts on Reddit are bots anyway, they're not even real people. But if you see that and like, well, why no 4K for this thing? Recording this video on the heels of Friends being announced for 4K. Now, Friends being a show, like 50 million people watched the finale of Friends. It's one of the biggest TV shows in the history of television. Seinfeld got a little bit more. MASH, I think, still maybe holds the record, but it's like a top 5 TV show as far as like viewership numbers. The last time it got sold to streaming, it brought it, like, it was a $425 million deal. Friends is one of the biggest cash cows, one of the most popular TV shows in history, and it got a 4K announcement, which so many TVs, like, that's not a thing. That's not, with that Game of Thrones on 4K, they got some Westworld on 4K. TV shows on 4K is not a thing. And Warner Brothers is like, let's see how this goes. And so they're announcing Friends. And like, people are like, but I tell you what though, you put out Charles in Charge on 4K, like they named the most obscure shows that would sell 26 copies. And I'm like, no, if we like physical media, and I think we all do, you want to see that thing seen, adopted, and succeed. We want to see these physical media formats thrive so that we're not reliant on streaming to see the stuff that we want to see. It's the craziest thing. People go, why no 4K? And then a studio's like, all right, here's 4K. And they go like, I'll give you $19 for it. It's the craziest thing. It is insanity. We are a huge part of the problem. We have got to do better. There's a running theme for this video. It's like, fandom, guys, we have got to do better. We've got to support the things we care about, and we've got to stop being so nitpicky and like look at the big picture here, right? So 4K scan, it's not a 4K. Somebody's going to say, well, I'm just going to wait for the 4K. There's not going to be a 4K of Daisy Miller. I mean, look, maybe in 2035, you know, like maybe a long way down the road that's going to happen. In the meantime, buy the Blu-ray for $20 and enjoy it. You know, if you want it, buy it now. Anyway, Sybil Shepherd, is based on the Henry James. Oh, it's a novella. It's not even a novel. Anyway, we got audio commentary by director and producer Peter Bogdanovich, who I should mention, you know, when I was a younger film fan, I did not get Peter Bogdanovich. He would always wear the ascot or a neckerchief, and I'm like, what is this about? It felt very like putting on airs. Now I realized he was trying to keep the classic tradition of Hollywood alive, and he was always really approachable about stuff. He was always like clearly a fan. He was not super pretentious about these things, I don't think. And so I've evolved in my Peter Bogdanovich fandom there. Audio commentary by film historian and critic Peter Tonguette. And Remembering Daisy Miller, that's an interview with Sybil Shepherd. Introduction by Peter Bogdanovich. I think somebody even, this is where comments and where we're the worst comes in. Like someone's like, you're saying Bogdanovich's name wrong. You have to put the emphasis on Bogdanovich. If you don't say Bogdanovich, you've screwed up his name. So, okay, I say Peter Bogdanovich. Peter Bogdanovich. Okay. Big Man on Campus, The Hunchback of UCLA. Now listen, this is one of those movies that I'm like, I'm sorry, what? I'd never heard of it. I do not remember this cover from the video store in my day. I was like, what is this movie? It's got some people in it, guys. It's written by Alan Katz. It's directed by Jeremy Kagan, but it stars Alan Katz, Corey Parker, Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley, and I guess maybe more important for this video would be American Graffiti, and Tom Skerritt. Tom Skerritt is Dallas from Alien is in this movie. So look, I don't know anything about this, but it's got a 2K scan from the 35mm interpositive. Audio commentary with the director Jeremy Kagan and film historian Andrew Bentler. What About Bob? Interview with actor and screenwriter Alan Katz. Alternate ending with an optional commentary from the director. A still gallery. That's a lot of special features for Big Man on Campus. You guys seen this? What do you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. It seems as if it would be a comedy, but apparently it's a fairly, well, it says the comic misadventures of Bob, the mysterious inhabitants of the UCLA campus clock tower. I don't know how you do the Hunchback of Notre Dame as someone's going to go, you said the Hunchback of Notre Dame wrong. It's Notre Dame, you idiot. Nothing good comes from that attitude. I'd say this with the third time I've said that. How do you do The Hunchback as a comedy? Because it's a sad story. And Disney was like, we're just going to change the ending so that it's happy. How do you do that? So I guess that's what you have to do. You have to make a lot of changes. Revenge of the Ninja. This is a re-release. This has been out from Kino Lorber before. I have it. It's a super fun movie. It's Sho Kosugi. Who else was in this? Let's see. It's this a canon film, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, Menachem Golan and Yoram Globus. Golan and Globus. It's canon film. 1993. Sho Kosugi, Keith Vitale, Virgil Fry. It's a ninja movie. And if you are remotely close to my age, there is literally nothing cooler in the world than a ninja. Because if you grew up in the 80s, this was the era of Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe and American Ninja. And I mean, the Hand in Daredevil, the Frank Miller Daredevil comics, like ninjas were everywhere. And they were awesome. And movies like this fed our fury for ninjas. They fed that. We're like, oh my God, have you seen? Because, you know, maybe your video store had this, maybe it didn't. Maybe you saw it on television, but if you did, you're like, have you seen that ninja movie, Revenge of the Ninja? Anyway, great stuff. Again, there's none of these have, I'm verifying and I'm showing you the visual proof. None of them have reversible art wraps. Somebody's going to get Bert hurt. We're talking about Burt Reynolds, Jill Clayburgh, and Candy Bergen. I love Candy Bergen. It's my Lorne Michaels. It's not great, but starting over, we have like one of the things to come out of the last 2 years or so, this Paramount deal. It's not just Paramount though, because it's also Universal, because he did a lot of stuff at Universal and they got it out. So many Burt Reynolds movies, and no, they're not all great. Yeah, for every Smokey and the Bandit, there's a what is the movie? I can't remember the name of it. It's a Kino Lorber put it out. It's Burt Reynolds where they find the missing link, and then this guy sleeps with the missing link. It's a crazy movie. And isn't the guy that sleeps with the missing link the guy that played Harry Mudd in Star Trek? Anyway, like there's a lot of not so great Burt Reynolds movies out there, but they're Burt Reynolds movies, and he's one of our greatest stars. And listen, there's no like, this is good stuff here. So 4K scan, whatever, okay. The original 35mm camera negative, and we've got an audio commentary by Daniel Kramer and Howard S. Berger. Here, I'll just do this really quick. Burt Reynolds plays a brilliant, against-type, low-key, contented magazine writer who tries to put his life back together after his wife opts for an independence as a singer-songwriter. It's a slice-of-life movie in the kind of film that we don't get anymore and haven't gotten for a while. Anytime I talk about these kinds of movies, I'm like, I miss stories. Listen, we just talked about a ninja movie, and you saw how excited I got about it. But I'm also an adult, and I like movies about other adults that don't involve spaceships or machine guns. I appreciate movies about real people and real situations, and we have fewer of them than ever before. Now this would be an 8-episode streaming series on Peacock or someplace, you know, it was Paramount, so it'd be on Paramount Plus. In fact, I've just given Paramount Plus a great idea. Hey, starting over as an 8-episode series, who would we cast? Who's a good fit for this? I don't know. Joshua Jackson. They know they did the Fatal Attraction thing with Joshua Jackson. Let's get Pacey from Dawson's Creek to star as the. But it can't be a magazine writer. He'd have to be like a blogger or something. I don't know. He'd have to be a. Anyway, like I missed that, and people go like, "Yeah, but you got it on TV." No, not really. That's a different version of that thing. It's been expanded and watered down and turned into something that it never was. A 90-minute movie, a 105-minute movie doesn't have to live up to everything that a series. And if it's successful, they go, let's do another season. And then you get 8 more hours of it. And you're like, how is this good? John Carradine, Bluebeard, another one that has seen life elsewhere in the world, but now comes home to the USA. At last, John Carradine comes back to America. To love him meant death. John Carradine as Bluebeard with Gene Parker, Niels Astor, directed by Edgar G. Ulmer. Okay, hold on. Now I'm confused. Not confused, but I think the Bluebeard we got recently was not this version. So maybe this is a Blu-ray debut. I'm not. I'll have to do some research. Better yet, you guys are already on the internet right now while you watch this. You can look it up and see. It's an Edgar G. Ulmer film. I love Edgar G. Ulmer, one of the true king of the bees. And I love talking about Ulmer too because he was a guy, but I'm not going to do his whole biography here. But coming out of German Expressionism and working on some really incredible pictures in the silent era and into the early sound era, even at Universal. And then something happens. And I'll leave you to Google what may have happened there, but he is basically forever banished to the bees. And he makes Detour, which is this amazing film and an amazing film noir. Ulmer made so much out of so little. He was really an A-picture director who was punished to be in the bees. But we get incredible films, and he knew how to make them. This is a 4K scan from Paramount Pictures. It's got an audio commentary by Gregory W. Mank, who and Tom Weaver, two kings of the monster kid scene, and another commentary by David Del Valle. Again, same artwork here, but here, I'll hold that up for you guys. I'm telling you guys, there's just so much to be excited about here, and we're not even done. I'm going a little long on this. I try to keep these short because shorter videos really gets shorter videos get more views, really. I think. I don't know. Sometimes you can't... What you think is real, it's not what's really happening. I have less to say once we get outside the studio pictures because this is my area of expertise and study. Submarine Command. This is John Farrow. This was included in a John Farrow box set that Imprint just put out. But, again... now it's got a bigger distribution worldwide. That's a great thing. It's a 4K scan from they don't say the source, just says 4K scan. Anyway, John Farrow, I may have just done a commentary for a John Farrow movie too. Wink. So we'll talk about that, but I'm really fresh on a lot of this stuff. Screenplay by Jonathan Latimer, who is a frequent collaborator. I think they collaborated 10 times. They collaborated 10 times, I believe. John Farrow, father of Mia Farrow. And they collaborated 10 times on movies. They list Alias Nick Beale, which is a great film noir, and Night Has a Thousand Eyes, which I just adore. I adore Night Has a Thousand Eyes with Edward G. Robinson. Anyway, so this is a submarine sort of a combat picture. William Holden, Nancy Olson, William Bendix, Don Taylor. And we've got a commentary by filmmaker historian Steve Mitchell and combat films American realism author Stephen J. Rubin. Good stuff. More great stuff. Alan Ladd, Thunder in the East. Now listen, Alan Ladd has become one of my favorite actors. One of my favorite movie stars. I have spent a lot of time researching Alan Ladd, studying Alan Ladd. I feel very close to Alan Ladd, and we have been truly blessed over the last 2 to 3 years to get most of his films, for his Paramount films especially. You know, he worked in the 1940s. He was coming out of the 1930s into the 1940s. He was just like a background guy. He had a great physique. He was a diver. He was a swimmer, a champion swimmer. Had a great physique, and he was spotted in a play, and ended up in some pictures, kind of in the background. Works his way up, and by the time of the early 40s, he becomes a bona fide star. He's in a series of movies with Veronica Lake, and it just gets bigger and bigger. And then by the late 40s, he is like the number 2 star in America. And he wants more. Now I'm giving too much away. Alan Ladd is the best. And this is very near the end of his time at Paramount. But thankfully, we have gotten almost all of his Paramount films on Blu-ray in the last few years, which is a huge cause for celebration, because after this period, he does some stuff with Warner Brothers, and we know how Warner Brothers is with some of their catalog. It's like, you know, you might get it, you might not. And then he goes and does a lot of stuff with independent. He has his own production company. He's doing independent films, and we've got some of those on DVD, especially from other parts of the world, but a lot of those movies have yet to see the light of day on a disc anywhere in the world. So I'm super thankful that we have another Alan Ladd movie in our collections. Audio commentary by Lee Gambin. Rest in peace, Lee Gambin. That hit me harder than I thought it would. Lee Gambin, so he was here. He did I had a podcast episode with Lee Gambin. Lee Gambin and I were the same age. Literally, we were born the same year. And we had so many of the same cultural reference points. And he's not with us anymore. And go check out that interview with him. I wish that I could have done more. I wish that we'd had more time. You know, he was in Australia. I'm in the United States. He's a part of the club that I am just now starting to get a little bit of a foothold in. So I'm still a little bit of an outsider in that peer group. Some of these people still don't even know who I am. But it was great to get to know him a little bit better. And he's got a commentary here. Lee Gambin and Alyssa Rose, his frequent collaborator, costume historian Alyssa Rose. You can hear them here. All right, that's going to do the Studio Classics. Kino Lorber Studio Classics. Now we're going to embark on Kino Lorber proper, because it's two different things. They keep them separate, right? You have Kino Lorber and then you have Kino Lorber Studio Classics. My area of focus is a film historian, and I'm not naming myself a film historian willy-nilly. Like, my interest, I literally like to research the history of film. That's my thing, right? And remember, I told you I'm saving the best for last. If you love film history, stay through to the end of this video, because there's going to be some stuff here that if you're like me, you're like, oh, I don't know much about that. Stay through to the end of the video. So this is Kino Lorber proper stuff and all their partner labels. This is the Milestone Cinematheque putting out Bushman. This is a film by David Schickel. Did I say that right? Schickel? David Schickel. So listen to this pitch. This is in 1968, Peace Corps veteran David Schickel enlists his friend Paul A.M. Inzi Akpokam. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but it's a Nigerian name, right? To star in a lighthearted drama about the adventures of a well-educated Nigerian immigrant in San Francisco, using a docu-fictional style reminiscent of John Cassavetes' Shadows from 1959. Bushman observes the foibles of late 1960s African-American culture with an outsider's incisive eye. This sounds really interesting. You know, the late 60s, the culture, the counterculture movement, everything that was happening during, like 55 to really like 1972 is super interesting to me. The music, the art, the culture. This is a docudrama that's right in there. Bonus features: Give Me a Riddle, a documentary by David Schickel, 1966, that runs 67 minutes. Tuscarora, a documentary also from the director from 1992 that runs 58 minutes. Re-release trailer, audio commentary by Daniel Kramer and filmmaker Rob Nilsson. The French. This is a documentary about the French Open. It says in his 1969 film Muhammad Ali, The Greatest, William Klein, found a subject that combined his interest in sport and social criticism, and much the same combination can be seen in this work. Very different. The French. Klein was the first person to be granted full exclusive access to the tournament in its 90-year history. Using that doorway to locker rooms, TV studios, and players' boxes, he shot the ultimate behind-the-scenes look at the 1981 French Open. A crucial moment and a crucial year in the history of the game, in its iconic players Bjorn Borg, John McEnroe, Chris Evert, Yannick Noah. It's under the Made in Mexico thing, and I'm having a hard time reading. Anyway, with Klein's customary eagle eye and whirlwind energy, the French captures the noisy bedlam that accompanies any major sporting event, while also revealing a level of candor from his subjects that is impossible to imagine in today's secretive, media-trained world. That sounds fantastic. I follow a little bit of tennis. My wife's more interested in tennis than I am, but that sounds incredibly interesting to me. And the reason I haven't seen some of the stuff that we're going to talk about is just because there's too much for me to get to in the space of the 30 days at best that I have before I make this video. Some of the stuff that we're going to talk about, that we have talked about in this video, I got today. I was waiting on it to arrive so I could make this video, because I like to put these videos up before the month is over. So it's a complete look at everything from that month. You just run out of time. There's only so many hours in the day. Slam. This is a film about, I believe it's it's not a documentary. I think it's an actual narrative film. The winner of the 1998 Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival and the Camera d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. Slam is a landmark independent film presented in a 4K restoration. Why no 4K? It is a powerful, it's about slam poetry, basically. It features the music of Mobb Deep, Busta Rhymes, ODB, and Q-Tip, Bonus features an audio commentary by director Mark Levin and stars Bonds Malone, behind the scenes footage, and a theatrical trailer. And it is on Blu-ray, which is cause for celebration. I'm going to do a few DVDs now. On the Adamant, a film by Nicholas Philibert. Winner of the Golden Bear at the Berlin Film Festival. On the Adamant is an affecting, enlightened documentary that invites the viewers to come aboard the Adamant and witness the transformational power of art and community. It's a one-of-a-kind place, a floating refugee on the Seine River in the heart of Paris that offers day programs for adults with mental illnesses. Okay, so I don't need to read any more because you've gotten a gist of what it is. But I'm going to hold that up and let you freeze it, read it, live it, love it. Compassionate, intelligent, and shrewdly observed, says The Guardian. Here's another one that seems really culturally significant. The Eichmann trial. This is about the actual Nazi trial from, what was the year of this? 1961. History was on trial. Just 15 years after the end of World War II, the Holocaust had been largely forgotten. Isn't that crazy? 15 years after World War II, the Holocaust had been largely forgotten. That changed with the capture of Adolf Eichmann, a former Nazi officer hiding in Argentina. Through rarely seen archival footage, the Eichmann trial documents one of the most shocking trials ever recorded. And then we got special features here too: a director Q&A, newsreel, trial of the century, newsreel, guilty. It's an incredible historical film. I love these real glimpses into history. And there's a lot of them coming out from Kino Lorber. This is, let's see, Queen Tut, a beautiful piece of queer cinema, says Film Obsessive. This is about a spirited trans woman who takes in a closeted, aspiring drag queen teen under the wings of this, under her wing in this endearing comedy drama. We've got a behind-the-scenes feature with the cast and crew, a deleted scene, a lyric video, karaoke video, and Cinephobia trailers. This comes from the Cinephobia releasing company. Oh, here's another one. I should have grouped this earlier. Another historical, artistically, anyway, uncropped. This is about, oh man, this is about Alfred Hitchcock, Muhammad Ali, Meryl Streep, LL Cool J. From cultural icons to powerful news stories, James Hamilton captured it all. Uncropped, the legendary Village Voice photojournalist. So anyway, it's about the photojournalist and the pictures he took and capturing these moments in our pop culture. It's I'm looking for the year of the film. Packaging is 2020. Where's the year, man? Anyway, this is as a pop culture student, that seems really significant to me. This also sounds absolutely fascinating. Queen of the Deuce. Now listen to this. The unbelievable true story of Shelley Wilson, who escaped the Holocaust and built a porn cinema empire in New York City in the 1970s. She was a Greek-born, Christmas-celebrating Jewish grandma who married men but was openly gay. This documentary charts her unlikely rise to wealth as a shrewd businesswoman on The Deuce, aka the infamous 42nd Street. I'm sorry? That sounds fascinating. Wow, screen agrees with me. A fascinating, colorful portrait. Just the idea of it. I'm like, it's a documentary. It's not a fictionalized story. I'm afraid that tower is going to fall over again. I've got them stacked too high. One Hand Don't Clap. And hot and spicy musical celebration. This is a documentary about calypso music. It's so interesting to me. You guys remember, I'm going to do some history. You guys remember the Bill Haley movies? We had like Rock Around the Clock, and there was one more Bill Haley and his Comets movies. It's I believe it was Sam Katzman, exploitation producer Sam Katzman was like, rock and roll is the new thing. And they crank out all these exploitation movies for rock music, right? And he thought the next thing was going to be calypso. And there was a little moment where we had like Harry Belafonte movies, and he would go on to become a dramatic actor. But there was a scene built around the calypso music trend. But it didn't. The film didn't last. But calypso music, it's still celebrated, and that's what this documentary is about. Captures the vibrant story of calypso and soca with the dynamic Grandmaster Lord Kitchener, who made the music a hit in London, and Calypso Rose, the first woman to shine in a male arena. Leads audiences from New York recording studios to awesome magic of Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. This sounds fantastic. So behind the scenes image gallery, re-release trailer. Oh, we've got a book. We've got a book, you guys. A booklet. I'll be with you soon. So I'll read it later. Like, anytime we get something at the crossroads of music and history and like pop culture, I'm just like a kid in a candy store. All right, 2 releases left, and remember, I'm saving my favorite for last. The Killing, the complete series. This is the Danish television series, the Danish crime TV series that delves into the intricate world of crime, politics, and personal struggles. It is the entire thing. Is each season of... I'm not going to hear. I'll hold this up and let you guys read it. It's cool. Kino Lorber continues to mine the depths of these global TV show hits. So we've got season 1 and then seasons 2 and 3 here. I love that you got the whole thing. And yes, it's a DVD. I don't even know if this was HD ready. I have no idea, but I'm excited that I'm so backlogged on them. Rocco Schiavone I'm still in the middle of, but that's another one that Kino Lorber put out. I was just really impressed by. All right, you ready? My favorite thing, and I saved it for last because I do think it's the best. It's the one I want to spend. It's the Vitagraph comedies. The Vitagraph comedies, you guys. This is a collection of comedy films that span. What are the years here? It starts in 1907. 1907 to 1922. It's comedy films. If you think that silent comedy is only Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and Harold Lloyd, no, or even Laurel and Hardy, I guess we should throw in there too. This is incredible. And it's not that all the shorts are just so knockout funny. It's that they're so beautifully preserved, and you're looking at a window into 100 years in the past or more. This is a time machine, and I have discovered people that I didn't know about. Edith's story, you guys. Edith's story has captured my heart. I'm looking for her. There she is. I was looking at silent English featuring John Bunny, Frank Daniels, Mr. and Mrs. Sidney Drew, Flora Finch, Huey Montgomery and Rock, Larry Seaman, Edith's Story, Constance Talmadge. Edith's Story does these Jane. She's in other ones too, but she does these Jane shorts, these silence comedies, and she's got like one of her teeth blacked out, and I just think she's beautiful and radiant and so funny and so talented, and she's got whatever the thing is that we say stars have, where you just want to watch them. She's got that. She's so comfortable on camera, and I just have fallen in love with Edith's Story. And so now she quit, like she retired in the early 20s. And I got to go track down more Edith's Story because I just think it's wonderful. One of the cool things here is that these come in conjunction with the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress has done the preservation here. And there's a lot of FaceTime with the people at the Library of Congress. Like the first disc opens up with the series curators Rob Stone, Lynn Ann Schweighofer, and George Wellman, and the film historian Rob Farr. And they're talking about like discovering these things because they're discovering a lot of it too. And they're like, one guy, I'm not going to name who the actor was, but they're like, one of the things, like, this is the first silent comedy star, and he's not funny at all. How could someone who's not funny be the first big silent comedy star? And it's honesty, and I really appreciate that. And so, listen, I'm still working my way through it because it's a ton of material. By the way, the Kino Film Collection. I'll hold this QR code up if you want to scan that. But this is it's a 3-disc set, and it's like 11 hours or something like that. 565 minutes. So I'm still working my way through it. But what I have seen, I mean, the first one on the set is the 1907. Is that the 1907 one? Anyway, it's got maybe it's the second one. It's got special effects in it. It's got like stop motion animation, essentially, from 115 years ago. What? It just shows one of the things that I like to talk about here because I am so history focused, is that we tend to view the past as we think we're better than them. We think we're superior to them. We think, well, they didn't have access to the internet back then. What you realize when you see something like this, and what I have started to realize, it started a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago for me, I don't know, is that we are the same. Absolutely the same. They have the same addictions and the same foibles and the same aspirations and the same man. There's a scene in one of these, I mean, legit, guys, it's like 1912, okay? The house looks like it's now. It's the same architecture we're using now. Someone knocks on the door and the character like goes to the curtain and it's like pulls it over just a little bit because she doesn't want anybody to know that she's home. That's now. Like, I think I did that last week. Like, someone rang the doorbell. I was like, who's that? Like, whoop. We are the same. And so, I don't know. It's just, there's something beautiful about it. There's something unifying about it. There's something that's really inspiring to me. And when I get to see these films, again, it's not even about if they're funny or not. It's more about the humanity. And that's what I love about the arts, in a time when the arts are always in danger, but the arts are really in danger right now because people see them as the enemy. People are like, well, you can't tell stories about people because you might confuse people. See, we need stories about people. You connect with the past and you connect with different kinds of people. And it's beautiful because you realize we are exactly the same that we were 100 years ago and probably 100 years before that. But because we have this living record, film as a living record of our history, it leaps off that screen. And these restorations are incredible because they are so clean. Oh my goodness, they are so clean. They look like someone shot them with an iPhone and then put a filter on them. Like, they have all these like old movie filters that people can use for digital video. That's what it looks like. They've restored them. I think a lot of us came to silent, if we know anything about silent movies at all, like they're too fast. People are like they're running around. Like, that's it. When you bring them down to their proper speed and you clean them up, it's like looking through a window into the past. It is crazy, man. It is crazy, but wonderful in the best of ways. So I cannot recommend this collection enough. It is for sure one of my favorite releases of the entire year. It's got audio commentaries on it, but most importantly, it is just a beautiful presentation of these comedy shorts that reveal, hey, there's Edith's story. There she is right there. That reveal so much more than what I think some of us even knew was out there. If you only know. And I realize I'm talking to some people who probably, like, I've never watched a Charlie Chaplin short or anything like that. Now listen, I would say go into it, as highly as I'm recommending it, go into it realizing that it's not going to compete with anything now. You have to meet the thing on its own terms. You have to meet it where it is. It's not going to come to you. You have to do a little bit of work. But if you drop the superiority and you just go, okay, let's experience this. And I do like two. I'll do two at a time, right? So that some of them are as short as like 7 minutes. Some of them go up to about a half an hour. I'll usually do two. Because after two, my attention span's a little bit lower because you have to really pay attention because there's no words, there's no dialogue. You're obviously not on your phone because if you were, you'd be missing what's happening on screen. So, you lock in and you follow the narrative through. 2 is really the magic number for me. But I just want to say, like, I know sometimes I recommend silent film, like The Cat and the Canary was a big one for me when that came out. The 1927, was it? Cat and the Canary from Eureka. Huge fan of that release. And I know some people were like, you have to do a little bit of work. It's not always the easiest thing. But if someone told you could see into the past, wouldn't you want to do it? If someone said, I have this time machine and you can look through this lens and it will show you things from 100 years ago, wouldn't you want to see? Guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our monthly spotlight on Kino Lorber. Again, huge thanks to Kino Lorber. They send this stuff to me so I can make videos like this. Obviously, this is a huge passion of mine. It's not like they're sending me stuff and I'm just like, oh, I guess I'll talk about it. I love this. This is a match made in heaven. I know a lot of you guys agree. It's one of my favorite things to do in any given month. I just love making these videos because I get to talk about the thing that I love more than anything else. And that's movie history. I love music history too, but we cover movies most of the time here. Thanks to Kino Lorber. Thanks to you guys for watching these videos and making them the success that they are month after month. There's a link in the description of every single video that I post that has all of the social media information for Cereal at Midnight. It's got the website if you want to know, what does he think about this movie? Well, there's a review archive at CerealAtMidnite.com with links to hundreds of movies from me, from yours truly. There's also, where you can find, there's the link to the store if you want to pick up your own Wino 4K shirt or a Cereal at Midnight shirt or anything else. There's a link for that in the description of every video. And as always, there's an Amazon link. So if you do choose, listen, we know Amazon's not the best. We know they dropped the ball and all. It's that thing like put everybody else out of business and then you can just slack off. But if you have a gift card or for what, like if you just love Amazon, because if you're a Prime member, it makes a lot of sense. If you want to support Cereal at Midnight, you can use that Amazon link to buy literally anything. Anything you buy through that link, I get a few pennies on every dollar from that. So it's one way to support Cereal at Midnight. And I would also reference you because this is a Kino Lorber video. Kino Lorber often is your best place to get Kino Lorber releases. Now, they have the best prices most of the time. They also will charge you shipping. So you just have to do what's best for you. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention that, if you can pick all the stuff up directly from Kino Lorber, cut out the middleman, just get it straight from the people, More and more, that's where the business is gone. And we follow it, right? Like we meet the business on its terms. Like, okay, so Amazon's taking too much of your percentage and Walmart wants too much of your percentage. We'll just buy directly from you. That's where we're at these days. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you so very much. We'll be back here to talk about something else cool really soon. Until next time, I will catch you later.